Hello, class. This is the first of two videos for this final week of the semester. And the first video here is with regard to the exam, and the second video will be me talking a little bit about performance rights organizations, sundry uses for compositions, etc. Both of those lecture notes were in your course material, so please review them as well as all the links that were included within those lecture notes. First off, I wanted to make sure that you read the article that I posted a link to. It had to do with this poor coffee shop that had to register with all three uh, performance rights organizations, ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, and what that cost them. And I wanted to, if we were in class, we would discuss this and your feelings. But I personally just think it's a travesty, and that this happened to this poor coffee shop. Please read that article. There will probably be a question on the exam about it. So please read that article. All right, let's move on. So for the exam, as I said in your announcements, it's comprehensive, but there's some questions in there regarding performance rights organizations, sundry uses. I don't remember what I titled. Yeah, I titled that lecture regarding sundry uses, controlling the variables, lecture 19. So please look at that. All right, for the exam, be familiar with the term most favored nations. Remember, that means that everybody on the project, that is every publisher, receives the exact same amount. No one gets more than another. No one publisher gets more money than another publisher. Everybody's on the same page, and it's very important that you understand what that is. Payment policy of publishers. Well, typically when a quarter closes, a quarter being 3 months of the year, say for example January, February, March, the publisher pays the songwriter or songwriters 45 days after the close of the quarter. All right. Sometimes it's done twice a year. Record labels, publishers like to do that if they can get away with it. That allows them to keep the money longer, invest it, maybe make some interest off of it. But typically, most publishers will pay on a quarterly basis, 45 days after the close of the quarter. Please understand splits. Remember, the way you calculate a split, a mechanical split, is first of all, you have to determine the number of units sold or downloads. Then you have to know what mechanical rate is being used. Is it full mechanical rate, 0.091 cents? Is it 3/4 rate, 0.068? So you times the rate by the number of, let's call them downloads, and then you get the total amount. And then that amount is split in half between the songwriter or songwriters for 50% of it, and the other half is split between the publisher or publishers if there are multiple publishers. If there is a music administrator involved for the whole project, let's say their 10 to 15% would be taken off the top, and then the money's divided in half between the publisher and the songwriter. Or if there are multiple publishers and one of the publisher is represented by an administration company, well, then that's separate and you have to calculate down for that. But I don't think you have any questions that complicated. Understand the term song plugger. That's an old term, but that's basically a person that goes around sharing brand new songs with labels and publishers to get them involved and use that song. Work for hire, also known as corporate authorship. Know what that means. You'll need to have your calculators ready at hand for when you take this test. What's a sub-publisher? A sub-publisher is a publisher in a foreign land that collects monies on your behalf, the publisher. Here in the United States, let's say you're with a publisher that does not have representation in Brazil, then it would be advisable that you hire a sub-publisher in Brazil to collect monies for songs of yours that were used in Brazil, because if you don't use a sub-publisher, you're probably never going to see that money that is owed to you. A co-publisher, that just simply means if there is a song and it has two songwriters, and each songwriter has a different publisher, well, then that means the song or composition is co-published. Performance rights organizations, understand what they are, and I'll go into them on the next video. Understand film usage and how music is used in film with what are called synchronization fees or sync fees. There is no set rate for that. It's all negotiated based on a lot of factors. The title of the movie, who are the stars, the length of time the music is used, what time of year the movie is coming out. I mean, there's 50 or 60 variables that could be involved here. Sound exchange. Understand what sound exchange is. Sound exchange is a performance rights organization with a little bit different twist. It is a nonprofit performing rights organization, or PRO. They collect and distribute for record labels non-interactive digital transmissions of music. That could be via satellite, internet, cable TV, music channels. It wasn't even started until 2003, because prior to 1995 and 98, there was no protection for music that was used in those ways. And the Digital Recording and Millennium Copyright Acts of 95 and 98 allowed for sound exchange to be created. Understand that, and sound exchange pays directly to the artists and directly to the labels, and then the labels pay the publishers. Understand what the characteristics are of a good publisher. You'll remember that's back in the first part of the semester. Understand what a blanket license is for radio to play music, and understand what a PA form is versus an SR form. Understand that, and I looked through the exam, and so I'm giving you fresh information to make sure that you understand these things. So go over them again. You'll have to go back to the second week of school, but basically you should do this all right. You should perform well on the exam. Just get a handle on the things that I just talked about and the things that I'm going to discuss on the next video. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And I'm going to turn this off and start another recording.